The courtroom was ice cold, but nobody blamed the AC. Not that day. Not when Ashton Kutcher, America's cheeky prankster, Silicon Valley darling, Hollywood heartthrob, stepped into the witness box, not as a star, but as a man cornered by the truth. The trial of Sean Diddy Combs had already cracked headlines, built on whispers of sex trafficking, blackmail rings, and hidden corridors of power. But no one, not even the feds, expected this. Not Kutcher. Not this level of betrayal. There was no smirk, no swagger, just sweat beating down his temple, tie too tight, fingers fidgeting like a man unarmed. When the prosecutor pulled up a grainy image on the courtroom monitor, a dim room, velvet drapes, blurred faces, and Ashton, shirt half open, smiling with a drink in hand, the room held its breath. That was the 2009 White Party, he said, voice flat. Diddy hosted. I was there. And then the dam broke. I looked up to him, Ashton admitted. I thought we were just having fun. But there were things I saw, things I ignored. He talked of the new Hollywood rat pack, Diddy, Danny Masterson, Wilmer Valderrama, himself. What started as an elite party circle became something else. Darker, more coordinated. He told the court about NDAs, confiscated phones, backrooms managed by men with checklists. I signed those NDAs too. Thought it was just protocol. But then came the audio, from a 2013 party. You hear Ashton's voice urgent. I don't think we should be filming this. Another man replies coolly. Relax. They signed already. Who were you talking about? The prosecutor asked. Guests, Ashton replied, his voice cracked. Some were models, some weren't, but they didn't know what was going to happen. Not really. He confessed to hearing stories, ignoring rumors, letting the machine roll on. And then, the moment everyone feared was real, he confirmed the whispered legend, the freak-offs. It was Diddy's thing, he said. Exclusive. Phones locked, guests blindfolded, called it art. It wasn't. He went to his first one in 2005. I brought a date. Within 30 minutes, I wanted out. He described hidden cameras, rooms with no doors unless someone tapped your shoulder, a guest list where his name was tagged, green light. It meant I could go anywhere. I didn't ask why. When he tried to walk away in 2014, Diddy didn't yell. He didn't threaten. He just stopped calling. And suddenly 3 of my business deals vanished. A friend called me and said, "You made someone nervous." That's when Ashton knew. He wasn't just part of the circle. He was trapped in it. I didn't just keep secrets, he said. I became one. As court recessed, no one stood. No one spoke. Ashton Kutcher, Hollywood's golden boy, had finally told the truth. And it might tear an empire down. Investment groups disguised as lifestyle blogs. It wasn't just branding. It was surveillance, marketing, and recruitment all at once. One name kept surfacing. An unnamed investor connected to multiple Kutcher ventures. That same investor, it turned out, had direct ties to Diddy's overseas operations. Financial records later revealed large payments labeled simply as consulting or event services. Oddly enough, those transactions coincided with the dates of Diddy's most secretive private parties. Ashton admitted to dealing with Shell, companies he never fully understood. They told me it was about protecting intellectual property, he said. But in hindsight, it was probably just to obscure who was really paying for what. When asked why he didn't investigate further, Kutcher looked down, because the money was good, and I didn't want to be the guy who asked too many questions. The prosecution then laid out a timeline, from Kutcher's involvement in a high-profile tech hub in downtown LA, to his stake in a nightlife-themed app that collapsed not long after receiving millions in mysterious funding. Funds now frozen under federal investigation. Ashton admitted he'd been briefed by the app's team, and while he didn't know at the time, user data, names, locations, even biometrics had been sold off quietly. I didn't know, he said, but maybe I should have. He shared a disturbing moment in 2016, a pitch deck for a new app, developed by one of Diddy's associates, aimed at connecting talent with producers. But one page outlined discrete background checks and personality profiling. It Gave me a bad feeling, Ashton said. I passed. What was unfolding wasn't just about wild parties or moral compromise. It was a machine, an entire infrastructure blurring the lines between Hollywood glamour and something much darker. And the people behind it? Household names, celebrities collecting awards on stage while secretly cashing checks signed in silence. Over time, Ashton's circle began to shrink. The rat pack that once operated like a brotherhood began to crack, not from scandal, but control. Loyalty, it turned out, had a price, and betrayal came with consequences. After 2014, something shifted, Kutcher recalled. Danny got darker. Wilmer started pulling away, and I began hearing whispers. He wasn't talking about TMZ headlines. These whispers were private, personal, urgent. One friend disappeared from the scene completely, Ashton said. We thought he was just burned out. Then he called me and said, "You know too much. Get out." Kutcher explained that once he began turning down invitations, whether to parties, investments, or dinners, things changed. Projects once approved were suddenly canceled. PR partnerships dissolved. Executives stopped answering his calls. It was like I was being quietly erased. Then came the charity gala in early 2017. Diddy greeted him warmly, smiling as always. He hugged me, Ashton said, told me I'd been missing out. Then he leaned in and said, "You should be careful about what you don't remember." That stuck with him. Soon after, Ashton received a plain envelope at his office. Inside, a USB drive. The contents? Footage from a 2012 party. Not illegal, just humiliating. I got the message, he said. They were reminding me, we have things you'd rather the world didn't see. Fear started shaping every decision. He didn't speak out. He didn't confront anyone. He just tried to slip away, hoping no one would notice. But someone always did. Every time I tried to back off, he said, something happened. A tabloid leak, a hacked email, a lawsuit threat, and I'd scramble to protect my family, my reputation. But what haunted him most was what he couldn't protect, his conscience. He recalled one final warning in 2018. A friend called him late at night. They said a civil case was coming against someone in the group, Ashton testified. Then they said, "Don't worry, we'll handle it." That's when I realized we weren't just friends anymore. This was damage control. He started to walk away. But the deeper he looked, the darker it got. He distanced himself from everyone quietly, moving funds, cutting ties, renegotiating contracts. But even then, the past lingered. Business partners still mentioned Diddy with reverence. Tech founders dropped cryptic references to shadowy funding, rounds. All Ashton could do was smile and nod. It felt like a shadow I couldn't shake, he said. And the worst part was, I helped build it. By 2020, Ashton Kutcher had done everything to scrub his image. His investments seemed altruistic. His interviews were wholesome. His family, picture perfect. But underneath it all, he was running. He wasn't alone. The entertainment world was shifting. The pandemic forced stars inward. Scandals crept forward. And soon Diddy's name wasn't whispered. It was screamed. When I heard about the first raid, Ashton said, I wasn't surprised. I was relieved. But the relief was short-lived. Then came the subpoenas, the headlines, forgotten photos surfacing online. Ashton's name returned. And this time, no PR firm could save him. He recalled the day federal agents knocked on one of his business properties. They had a warrant. They wanted everything: footage, emails, travel logs. I gave it all. He explained his silence during the initial storm. I was scared. Not just of legal trouble, but how far it could go. Who it would hurt. The biggest blow came in 2023. Footage from a Hamptons party he co-hosted with Diddy. Not graphic, but troubling. Influencers being led to restricted areas. On camera, Ashton said, just keep them calm until we start. In court, he insisted. That wasn't what it looked like. We were doing a branding shoot. At least that's what I thought. That's what I was told. But the public didn't care. For a man known for trust and charm, the fallout was brutal. Endorsements gone. Tech partners pulled out. His name erased from boards. Mila, his wife, was furious. She begged me to walk away years ago, he said. I didn't listen. His kids began asking why strangers yelled at their home, why cameras never left. had to explain things I didn't even understand myself. It didn't collapse. In an explosion. It crumbled, brick by brick. A Hollywood A-lister, once untouchable, now unraveling. Not for what he did, but what he enabled. And what he refused to stop. Then came the shift. The moment his testimony turned to someone once, like a brother, Danny Masterson. The courtroom changed. No one needed reminding of Masterson's fate. But no one knew just how embedded he was, or how far Ashton went to protect him. "We came up together," he said. "Shared everything. Work, parties, investors. That 70s show wasn't just a set. It was networking. Danny had Scientology. Ashton had venture capital. Diddy had music and fashion. They merged into one machine, one built to suppress anything inconvenient." When Danny was first accused, Ashton said, "It wasn't just lawyers. People from every industry called in favors. I watched it happen." He recalled a 2017 dinner in the Hollywood Hills, just before Netflix dropped Masterson. Producers, execs, even one of Diddy's attorneys were there. The goal wasn't finding the truth. It was protecting the machine. Documents showed Ashton, coordinated optics. "I thought I was helping a friend," he said, "but I was helping bury the truth." One 2018 PR memo listed strategies to flood media with positive stories about Ashton, Diddy, and Masterson. Celebrity endorsements, red carpets, charity donations, time to distract from legal noise. "I was scared the public would turn," he said. "So I became part of the distraction." Then came the most chilling part. In 2019, Danny called me. He was panicking. Said if it went bad, he'd take people down with him. I asked who. He said, "You know who signs the checks." Everyone in the circle understood. It wasn't just proximity. Ashton had been close enough to see the gears turn. He lifted the curtain, explained the system behind the silence, the cleanup crew. Not one group. A structure. Fixers, drivers, medics, lawyers, publicists. "You'd walk into chaos," he said, and by morning, it was sanitized. He described a 2015 overseas event. A guest collapsed. She was removed. By dawn, the room was remodeled. They mirrored the walls, like it never happened. There were 3 tiers of silence, he explained. Money, opportunity, and threats. Some got gifts, some got roles, some vanished. Records showed Ashton authorized payments through an LLC to a media fixer, who also handled damage control for a Diddy campaign. When asked why, he said, "Because I didn't know how to get out." By 2021, he tried. Cut ties, closed accounts, deleted photos. But silence raised questions. "You ever try to delete your past?" he asked. Problem is, someone always has a copy. In early 2022, his wife got a message. A photo of her and the kids, captioned with a contract clause she'd never seen. "It wasn't a threat," Ashton said. "It was a reminder. Even if you leave the party doesn't leave you." And then came why he was finally speaking out. "Because I got tired of erasing myself. The longer I stayed quiet, the more I became them." He paused, understanding what this moment meant. Not just for him, but for everyone watching. "This isn't about saving face," he said. "It's about saving whatever part of myself is still left." When asked if he'd change anything, he didn't hesitate. 2005. That first party. When the door closed behind me, I should have left. But I stayed. I smiled for cameras, sold apps while people got hurt behind the scenes. He recently sent letters to victims, not for forgiveness. Just to say, "I see it now, all of it." He turned to the judge. "Your Honor, if you need emails, names, records, I won't fight. I've done enough fighting for the wrong people." The courtroom fell into silence. Even Diddy didn't flinch. Because in that moment, it wasn't about fame or power. It was about everything they tried to bury, now rising to the surface. And whether Ashton was seen as redeemed or just another fallen idol, one truth was undeniable. The curtain had finally been pulled back. And what stood behind it was darker than anyone wanted to admit.